Peymon who?
Mata Heyday.
Peymon Lata Heyday. Who is he?
Never paid taxes in 30 years. Fought the U.S. tax court and won.
See, I believe our rights come from God, not from government. Hello to my truth and freedom-seeking friends. I'm Peymon Lata, president of Freedom Law School at freedomlawschool.org. In this presentation, I will cover the topic, why IRS is collapsing. Yes, and it's time for all of us, all of you, to join the national tax strike. I have not filed and paid federal income taxes for over 30 years. I've been teaching Americans like you to do the same legally and safely. And this is your opportunity to be free now. This is exciting news. I can't wait to share it all with you, my friends. Look at, what's going on out there with the IRS. First of all, IRS tells us they have a thing called compliance presence. What is it about IRS, about compliance presence? Well, they claim that they have compliance that includes what? Examination, audits of most types of tax returns. They audit tax returns, right? When you write information reporting to the IRS, right, that they want to verify. Math error notices on your tax returns. Criminal investigations of your tax returns. These are critical tools to determine if the income, expenses, and credits are being accurately reported to on your tax returns, and identify and resolve taxpayer errors on your tax returns, and to identify fraud on your tax returns. Interesting. These tools ensure that IRS has presence across taxpayers of all income and asset levels. That's right. For taxpayers, because you file tax return. That's when they use compliance against you. Or if you don't file, you'll be in a different category. They'll leave you alone, as you will see in a moment. You'll be very excited to see. But the word taxpayer, look at this. According to definitions of that in the Internal Revenue Code, section 7701, taxpayer is any person subject to any internal revenue tax. Well, when you sign a tax return, you claim you are subject to the internal revenue taxes, which I contend 99% of Americans are not required to file a tax return to begin with or pay income taxes to the federal government. Let's hear now from this person. This was a Doge government efficiency temporary agent, people that were there with Elon Musk to cut the waste in federal government. One of these guys was asked to come and help with the IRS, and that is him. His name is Sam Korkos. And here's a couple of clips we're going to show you tonight on what he discovered there, which will blow you away about IRS's incompetence, how they're literally from within falling apart of incompetence. Here we go.
In the IRS, the compliance team told me early on they really need help with their software systems. They said we have at least 60 different systems that do not communicate with each other at all.
Can you believe that? The division of the IRS that wants to keep you as a slave when you file tax returns, they have 60 different computer systems at least that they don't talk to each other. Or you thinking IRS is this God monster that sees all, that knows all, because your employer sent the IRS a W-2 form about what you made. Or somebody you work for as an independent contractor sent a 1099 form about how much they paid you to the IRS. None of that stuff matters. These guys are in trouble. Listen to more of what he has to say.
I assume this was an exaggeration. I spent 2 full days now at the compliance facility.
He thought that was an exaggeration, just like you are saying, what? IRS is everybody knows powerful. They get you, put you in jail, take everything you got. What do you mean? IRS, they're the powerful, evil empire, right? Well, let's see what more he's got to say about the IRS.
Just watching how these systems work, they are, if anything, they're underestimating how many of these systems there are. In software, when you're building these types of systems, one of the just core principles is you want to have a single source of truth for any piece of data. This is foundational. Sometimes you might have two sources of truth if you're doing like a really messy migration, or you have some caching layer and you're kind of balancing those two. But really, one is the goal. As of the last count, which I think is last week, the IRS has about 108 competing sources of truth. I'm not talking about data sources. This is like the most complex Rube Goldberg I've ever seen in my life in the IRS.
Yep. Over 108. So basically, you're thinking IRS is watching me, but they're not. You found that 1040 income tax confession form puts the burden on you to, did they process my tax return correctly? They're going to audit me or not? I'm not so sure. They don't know what's going on. Is withholding of your paycheck by your employer. That's a problem, as well as, you filing a 1040 tax form. So let's talk about this agency, which is in really bad shape. Okay? What did President Trump do? One of the best things that he has done is cut the IRS's number of employees. The 2025 IRS workforce reductions. Okay. Now we went here because when you go to this article, and it links here to the IRS, to the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration website. The website of the government is not working. They tell you that the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration website is temporarily unavailable. So we have to go back to a report of these guys that summarize some of the key findings of the Treasury auditors. That over 25,000 employees of the IRS have been separated, or basically fired or retired, okay, since January 2025. Yep. And basically that means resulted in a 25% reduction of IRS total workforce as of May of 2025. Yep. Here's from that report. We have this page saved as of May of 2025 in different parts of the IRS, how much they have to lay people off. Over 20% in every case, up to close to 30%. That is a huge cut to any organization. Basically, 1 out of 4 people is leaving. That hurts a lot. And IRS was already in very bad shape, okay? And when Trump, thank goodness, did that to the IRS. Let's hear more from this organization called IRS, how incompetent they are, for ourselves one more time.
You ask very basic questions about their role, and they can't even answer the simplest questions. Like if your job is you are the engineer responsible for data integrity, and I ask you a basic question of like, okay, so how does data go from here to here? And they go, I don't know. We should ask so-and-so. It's like, okay, is that just your answer for everything? Like what do you actually do other than set up meetings?
How does data go from here to here? Are you serious? From a server computer, how does it get to this user of the system? You don't know how that happens? And you got a system that you're in charge of running and don't know anything about the basic flow of information from your computers to your people that use it, to the people, American people that call you? Oh, yes, it is that bad. Okay, let's continue.
There's a really good book. Do you ever read the book Bullshit Jobs?
No, but I have an idea about what it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. And because you can't really fire these people.
Oh, I like that. They're full of BS jobs. People doing nothing productive, right? And that's right. You cannot fire federal employees, it takes almost an act of God. It's very rare to be able to fire a federal government worker because the laws have been made to make it extremely difficult to fire federal workers, no matter how bad, incompetent, lazy, alcoholic they are. They don't show up to work. Yeah, it is really that bad. Let him explain to you guys a little bit more. What happens?
Because you can't really give them negative performance reviews. They're just sort of there. As like maybe a data point, at most software companies that I've worked at or had exposure to, the ratio of engineers to non-engineers within like a product design engineering function is something like 5 engineers to every 1 non-engineer. Or if you're like a really tech-heavy company, it might be 10 to 1. We're basically the inverse of that. It's like 1 to 10. There are so many people whose job it is to like manage managers of contracts of managers. There are some really good people, but it is not the majority. Right.
Yeah. So basically, you should have, let's say, 1 non-technical person maybe managing 5 computer people, right? Technical people, right? But here it's the other way around. 5 people are supervising 1 person who does actual work. Yes, that's how ridiculous it is at the IRS with all the BS jobs. Okay, and it's worse, by the way. He further talks about these people that hire to do the job. They actually do not know when they hire them if they can do the job. On the resume they put on, they can do this program. They assume they really know it, and they hire him. And once they hire him, oh, he doesn't know how to do that either. So that's how bad it is with the IRS. So bottom line is this, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to recognize that you've been BS'd by the Wizard of Oz. The major media has blown up the IRS to be such a powerful being that they are not. Look at behind the curtain I'm pulling aside for you guys from the Wizard of Oz. It's a bunch of lazy people on literally 1960s computer technology. I'm not kidding. They are 1960s assembly level and COBOL language still, which I learned in college back in 1980 in California, okay? And they got you American people afraid with lies, deception, and propaganda. Don't be a Dorothy and her friends. Recognize all of your life you've been programmed to be a slave. Here's a real reason people pay income tax in America: because the television media, the propaganda, false charismatic preachers telling you to pay your taxes, fear, relaxation, adoration of government, panic, anxiety, shock to get you to be a slave. Okay, and I'm going to show you this short little video. This grasshopper is the system. Okay, the deep state, the IRS, the Department of Injustice, these politicians, the media, and you are the ants they are trying to enslave. Watch and have fun. The comparison is really real to what's going on out there. Here we go. And that one person he's talking about is me. The rest of it is you guys.
Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss. They're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one? Are you kidding? How about this? You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
Okay, well, yep, you saw the truth. We outnumber them. We outnumber the swarm. There's over 300 million Americans out there. There's so few of these guys are incompetent in government. Okay? We outnumber them. But if we ever figure that out, you figure that out, there goes their comfortable way of life. And life will be better for you, which is what they don't want. So you got to realize what's going on out there, folks. They're not after you. You're just an ant to them. Not to me. I love you. I want you to be free. But to them, you're just a puny ant. They got you scared of it. Grasshoppers, they're going to come get us. Okay? That's the game they've been playing with you for a long time. See, the fact of the matter is the number of non-filers, people who don't file pay income tax, is overwhelming to the IRS. That's right. In 1990, the IRS estimated that about 63 million Americans who they expected to file 10 income tax forms for 1996 did not file. That's not my number. 63 million Americans who don't file is IRS's number. So with the population increase since 1996, with 330 million Americans or more, there's about 80 million or so, perhaps more people who don't file 10 for income tax confession forms. Here's a letter. You think I'm making it up? In 1998, Department of the Treasury, Internal Revenue Service, Washington, D.C., to Mr. Dwan Abel. Well, they tell him, look at the second paragraph of this letter. Based on our 1996 tax filing program, we estimate the IRS estimates. They don't even know. They're guessing. There are approximately 63 million taxpayers who have not filed a tax return and initially would appear to have a legal requirement to file. Yep. This estimate, where is it based upon? It's based upon data available to the service, IRS, on the individual master file. Yes, the W-2 form, the 1099 forms, that's what they primarily get it from. 63 million non-filers. Well, let me ask you, is there 63 million Americans in prison for not filing a tax return? How about 63 million Americans having their bank account and paycheck being frozen and taken? No, that doesn't happen. That's a myth that they're programmed in our heads. You got to free yourself of the lies. Get out of the matrix of deceptions. You're free when you don't file a 1040 form. If you don't file, there's no audit. By law, IRS must send you an official letter called the Notice of Deficiency, like this one I'm showing you. And what does it say? Look at what it says in here in this box. You can contest the changes by filing a petition with the U.S. Tax Court. Yes. IRS must issue by law a tax proposal, and you have a chance to contest it, challenge it, have a trial in a U.S. Tax Court. And these incompetent, ignorant accountant and CPAs pretend to know the law in rural ages, but they don't know the law. Okay? And even tax attorneys, they cost too much, and many of them are ignorant as well. But you can challenge them if you don't file. If you file, you confess you owe the IRS money, and you don't have the right to challenge the IRS from the get-go. You can challenge the IRS from the get-go. And look at this. This is from Tax Court's website. United States Tax Court. They have, look at the left. The regular judges, they have only 19 of them. Yes, these senior and special judges take cases once in a while. They have under 20 regular judges for a country of 20 million. No, I'm sorry, 300 plus million Americans. Yes, there's 19 people. That's it. There is no way IRS can come after even a tiny fraction of those people who don't file 10 for income tax confession form. Yeah, you know, they're just overburdened. And now, with the IRS going through shortages, IRS appeals officers have been fired or left. There's a backlog already in tax court. Yes, I know, because people contact me about tax court cases. IRS is not getting back with them. They're saying, what's going on with the IRS? They're not contacting us. The tax court case is not moving forward. because they're already overburdened. There's no way they can come after you as a non-filer. That's why it's a perfect time for what? For a national tax strike. And this is what former Congresswoman Marjorie Greene Taylor Greene brought to attention, everybody. That, almost every Trump voter I see on X is so fed up they are planning a 2026 tax revolt, and rightfully so. That's right. I mean, Biden was bad with all the open borders, socialism, LGBTQ nonsense, men and women's bathroom, having, surgeries and mutilation of children, all the craziness that then we thought we got Trump. And guess what? With the whole Epstein child sex trafficking scam being covered up by Pam Bondi, the DOJ of Trump administration as well. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Democrat, Republican, neither one represents you, the American people out there. That's why tax strike is appropriate. In fact, look at this. This is on the top of this federal tax strike group that was created December 30th of last year, 2025. Okay? For every 72,000 people in the group who stopped paying for income tax, we created $1 billion impact to the federal government. Yep. See, remember this, folks. George Washington crossed the frozen Delaware to kill people for a 3% only T-tax. Yep, just a 3% T-tax. 3rd of December 2025, it already has over 61,000 members. Boy, last week and the last week, it was under 50,000. In a few days, it's over 60,000. Yes, because people are fed up. We have a government which is not by you, we the people, of you, we the people, for you, the American people, we the people. We have a government by corrupt criminal, child predator, billionaires, their politician, their media friends, okay, their corporations, of their people, for them. So why are any of us paying these criminals any money? Oh, because they got us afraid. But you got to get over that, folks. That proof is available for you at freedomlawschool.org. For you not to be afraid of the IRS. I've given you some of that. You got to keep going, and you got to understand this. You want to and should follow the law as written in the law books. Here is in my hand, you see the Internal Revenue Code. This is the Bible of the IRS. That is what they're supposed to follow, right? And if you read this thing like I have, the relevant parts, it does not apply to you, the people of the 50 United States, except some very small stuff like tax on oil. That's right. So you just got to go take a little time on our website, freedomlawschool.org, and take 10 minutes in this video and see that based upon the official legal websites of the U.S. government, no law requires 99% of Americans to file and pay income taxes. And then, you got to go to step 2, stop putting a rope around your neck. That's right. When you do that, you stop filing income tax forms, you free yourself. Because when you are deceived by your accountant attorney to sign the IRS 1040 form, tax confession trap form, you put the IRS noose around your neck. How? Well, it is simple. When you sign and file a 1040 confession trap form, you state under oath that you owe the IRS money. This is how you give the IRS the power to audit you, empty your bank accounts, steal your crypto and your property, and also put you in prison. The details on there on our website. Go there. Step 2 of the 7 steps to be free of the IRS. Okay, and here's it is. You got take a close look, add your signature line on the penalty perjury, tell the IRS that you owe the money, and you go to prison for 9 years for one signature you get, you put out these 1040 forms, okay? Now, this is the bottom line. Fear they got at you. Free yourself of that and join a tax strike, okay? It's all there for you to do it yourself. You don't need to pay tribute to this corrupt beast system. Be afraid of the beast. You have the power if you claim it. You can question authority, folks. Yes, write your congressman like we have done. Ask them to show you where the law required to file income tax, and you pay if they show you that you are wrong and you actually do owe federal income taxes. This is how you safely stop paying this beast system. And our petitions to congressmen available for free at freedomlawschool.org. You tell them you believe everyone should pay their fair share of income taxes according to the law. You fail to tell them that you don't own income tax. Yes, this is your self-determination that you have no taxable income. You owe zero to the Washington, D.C. government. You're not liable to pay federal income tax. And you tell them, look, if I'm wrong about this and I do owe federal income taxes, show me how I'm wrong, and I will gladly pay all taxes due and will consider such payment to be my fair share. But if you cannot find that I'm wrong, you got to stop the crooks and criminals in IRS and DOJ who are misapplying the law to the American people. The law in these cases is all attached there. So go to freedomlawschool.org. You can do it for free on your own, or if you want a 100% guarantee, that privilege is available that you be protected 100% from the IRS. No jail time, just like me. 30 years plus, haven't filed and paid income tax. Never went to jail for not paying income taxes, right? None of my students have gone to prison for not filing and paying income taxes as long as they came to me clean, like you. Stop filing and paying income taxes with Freedom Law School and stayed with Freedom Law School. Okay? So that privilege is available for those of you who want to be part of restoring America to freedom. It is your birthright to do the right thing. It's your right to stand up for yourself and your family and your country. So go to our website, freedomlawschool.org, and have yourself be free. Now, one more thing. If you're an employee, okay, what you want to do is go to our website. On the right, on the top right area here, on the menu, free yourself from tax withholding. It's there, okay? So click on that, free yourself from income tax withholding tab. And when you do that, it shows you how to stop your employer from stealing income tax from your paycheck. Instructions are here on video for you in detail. Okay? Explanation of it and sample paperwork step by step is there for you. So stop the money stealing from your paycheck. Stop filing income taxes. IRS is down, 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 down. You are up, up. You are awake. That's what's going on out there. And you be free like me. And I love you for taking the time. Thank you for listening to me and see if this information will be what you're looking for. Because it is. You've been looking to be free. And you found it here at freedomlawschool.org. Join the National Tax Strike. Tax 2026 like it's 1776.